Hey, it's me, Manga here. Welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be talking about this horror manga that I read recently that is very, very disturbing. The name of it is Dokumushi. It's definitely something not for the lighthearted. Let's just get right into it. I definitely want to talk about this because it is definitely some of the most disturbing and the most gory thing I've ever read in all my manga I've ever read. Before we get into it, I actually want to mention that this does deal with like different types of topics, like there's like cannibalism, there's rape, and stuff like that. It's just pretty messed up stuff. So just keep that in mind when before you read the manga. If you are planning on reading it, especially after this video, you should definitely watch this video before you read it so you know what you're getting yourself into. Basically, the main synopsis of the story is that there's we follow the main character Reiji. He basically just wakes up in this abandoned school, which is pretty much walled off, so you cannot like escape or anything. And he wakes up with a bunch of different people. There's like 6 or 7 people, maybe even 8. I don't really remember exactly how many people were there. So they wake up in this room, and there's a clock on the wall that's set for 7 days. And yeah, that's pretty much everything that happens. I mean, then it's just kind of like a descent to madness. There's no food, there's running water, but no food at all. And in this one room, there is a cleaver attached to the ground with a hot pot. So you could pretty much you could probably think about what happens with those things in that room. But I'm not really getting into that part, because actually what the most interesting thing is probably the characters. The cast of characters are, some of them are good, some of them are bad, but honestly, for this kind of manga, which kind of mainly has like shock factor as its, as a way of like, pushing the story forward, I still think the characters are actually pretty interesting, especially since all of these characters have like a traumatic past, and or like they went through like a traumatic experience, so you kind of see all their backstories. So it's actually, they go pretty in depth, especially this one character I'm going to talk about, this Chad character. He's pretty much the Chad of the group. I'll put him up right here, but he accidentally like killed somebody in his past, and in a car accident. And then you could actually see in this story that that like it's actually like haunting him, and it kind of affects him mentally, and it makes him it basically makes him make some choices that aren't the best. As you could see, if you read it, you'll know what I'm talking about. He doesn't make great choices at all, and he kind of is the one who starts it all up, starts all the murdering from happening, and basically starts this descent to madness that occurs in the story. And also, I want to talk about Reiji a bit. His character is pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. He's very easily manipulated, especially by this one of the girls in the group. Takes advantage of him a lot, and it's just kind of frustrating to see that. But he isn't terrible or anything. He's just kind of just like, he's pretty average, honestly. Nothing really too much to him. And I just want to say that I have not finished this manga because actually the scans finish at chapter 22. I can't find any more English scans for the ending. I think there's like 7 volumes or 6 volumes of it. I don't know exactly how many chapters, but yeah, it stopped at chapter 22. I can't continue it. I can't even find the Japanese version, so I can't find a continuation of it for some reason. It's kind of weird, but so I don't really know how this story gets resolved. But all I know is that it is very, very gory, and definitely something that people should read if they have like a high tolerance for that kind of stuff like I do. There's also this little child in this, which is very strange because the child has like no emotions whatsoever. So everything that's going on, like all like the murdering, the killing, all the screwed up stuff that's going on, she pretty much has like no effect. Don't really know what's going on with her, but probably gets resolved later on, like explain, because she's definitely like a mystery character. We don't know anything about her, the little girl. She's like 9 years old. Yeah, and there's like a 9-year-old girl in there. There's also like another guy in there that's also like a pedophile, so you know how that could end up. It's very, very, it's just, there's like a lot of things. They purposely, whoever put them in this like situation, purposely put pretty messed up people. They put like the like, for example, the Chad character I mentioned in the beginning. He was a pretty messed up character as well. They also put the pedophile in there. They also put the who else? Just like a cultist, and just like, so a lot of messed up people in this room, in this situation, to definitely rev it up, and and to like basically start this mess. And it definitely, like I said, there's a lot of murdering that happens. There's a lot of killing, a lot of gore, a lot of so all that kind of stuff. So just, if you're gonna read this manga, I definitely I definitely think that you should read it if you have like a high tolerance for that kind of stuff. Because there are some horror, like for example, Junji Ito. I think it's worth talking about Junji Ito because he is a horror mangaka. But it's definitely a lot worse than from what he does. It's more like psychologically horror, which is personally what I like because drawings on a paper doesn't really scare me at all, especially since it's not even colored or anything. But the psychological factor of it definitely does is definitely something that scares me a lot. Just thinking about like why why they did this or anything like that. So stuff like that is the part that kind of scares me the most. So and I feel like Junji Ito, he does have some good psychological horror. I've only read a couple of his works, but it's definitely not as bad. I feel like this definitely does haunt me more than Junji Ito does. Just so like a disclaimer, because a lot of people think that they probably would be able to read this if they read Junji Ito, but that they're completely different. I feel you can't really compare them at all. But I do recommend this, I guess. I mean, honestly, I actually don't recommend it. Actually, do not read this. I don't even know why I'm making this video if I don't want you to read this. I just feel like this is worth talking about because it is very scary. But don't read this unless you really want to get scared and really want to be, disgusted, basically. If you want to be disgusted, then read this manga and everything. I'm not going to leave a link or anything in the description of where to find it. Just find it yourself because this is definitely something you should not take lightly. But anyways, that's pretty much everything. Just like I said, this is definitely, not for the faint of heart. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything I want to talk about. This quick little video about this horror manga I read. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and yeah, see you guys next video. Peace.